This week on Game of Thrones, Jon Snow talks to a 10-year-old. What's up, guys? It's Mike and Andrew from the Earth's Mightiest Zeros back again for another Game of Thrones episode review and breakdown. This is for episode 7 from season 6 titled The Broken Man. So full disclosure, this is going to have all of the spoilers from this episode. So if you have not watched yet, click pause here, watch the episode, come back, and watch this video. It's going to have more spoilers than a Japanese car meet. So this week, the Hound is back. He's motherfucking back. We're both really excited about it.
Very, very excited.
We like the Hound a lot.
I love the Hound. He's probably one of my favorite characters in the show, and I never really thought that he was totally dead.
He's basically hanging out at this Alcoholics Anonymous for murderers and thieves out in the middle of nowhere, being run by the guy who plays Blackbeard in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Ian McShane.
Ian McShane's character is trying to essentially convince the Hound to not be violent anymore, to give up killing, and the Hound isn't really having it. As we all know, he likes killing quite a bit, and he wants to keep doing it. The episode, we're happy to have him back, but it's mostly just a lot of him chopping wood, until these three dudes from the Brotherhood ride up on horses, and they kind of threaten the people in a really subtle way. Mm-hmm. The Hound looks like he's scared shitless the whole time.
Yeah.
He's not really feeling it, because he knows who these guys are.
Yeah.
And the other guys don't seem to know who they are. So, long story short, at the end of the episode, he's out chopping wood some more when he hears horses and screaming. And by the time he makes it back, all of his new homies are dead, and Blackbeard is hanging from something that they were building. The final scene that we see in the episode is also the final scene that we see from the Hound, and he just pulls this axe out of a stump, and he kind of baseball bats it in his hand a little bit, and he's ready to go.
It's awesome. I mean, the scenes were not the most action-packed scenes of the show, but definitely exciting. And I thought Ian McShane, although he's obviously going to have a very small role in this show because it's already done, he was good, and their chemistry was really good, and it was great seeing the Hound back again.
Yeah, he's still got his wits, too. He's still a funny guy.
The next people who we're going to check in with are Jon Snow, Sansa Stark, and Davos. And they're out trying to find troops. First people we see them try to convince are the wildlings. And they're really not having it. They're kind of like, you told us to come here for something else, and now you're like, well, actually, no, we need you to do this for us and probably kill a whole bunch of your people. Tormund basically gets them on board. And Wun, the giant, gets up and says Jon Snow's name. So I don't know if that was him saying that he's for it or not. But after that, the rest of the wildlings were good to go. So
it's just literally like,
Snow.
And then he just fucking walks away.
The next people they try to convince are the Mormonts. Their leader is like a 10-year-old girl, and it's a really awkward scene, and I really didn't like it at all. They get out of this conversation with a whopping 62 troops.
Yeah, buddy.
So that was a total waste of time.
Waste of time.
So they can't convince the Glovers to help them because they just helped Ramsay Bolton, and also Robb fucked them over. So that didn't go too well.
Yeah. He says House Stark is dead.
So then they're reviewing their troops, and Sansa basically is just not a fan of Davos. And she thinks that they need more people, and it's just not really going very well with them. And she kind of seems to send a raven behind Jon's back. And that's kind of where we leave it with them.
All right, so then we're chilling out. We see Marjorie reading from the Bible? I know it's not the Bible, but whatever it is.
The Bible equivalent.
The Bible-ish book that they have. And the Sparrow comes in, and he's just kind of casually like, hey, what's up? Did you fuck Tommen yet? And she's like, no, my desires have changed. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. You don't have to want it. You just have to be patient while he does it. Because he needs to he needs to spit his son out, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of his big things. And also he's ready to threaten Lady Tyrell. And basically he tells Marjorie if she doesn't get her shit together or leave, she's going to have to do the whole atonement thing, which involves sitting in the cage and walking naked through the street. And I don't want to see that.
No, nobody wants to see that.
Then Marjorie goes to visit her grandma. She's talking to her like she's trying to convince her to kind of change her ways, but she actually tells her to leave. It seems like she's kind of subtly warning her. She hands her a little slip of paper. Later, when Lady Tyrell's alone, she looks at the piece of paper, and it's a rose, which is the symbol of their house. This is another hint for us that Marjorie is still kind of subtly, like, going...
She's basically undercover.
Cersei, who doesn't like Lady Tyrell at all, actually comes to try to convince her to stay because she wants her help. And Lady Tyrell basically says, you failed, and that's the only thing that's happened since I got here that makes me happy at all. So fuck off.
So the next people that we check in with are Jaime and Bronn, and they are catching up with the Freys, who are trying to siege the tower from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
English nuggets.
Basically, the Freys are really, really bad at this.
They're not good at sushi.
So like the Blackfish walks out at the top, and they're like being like, "All right, we're gonna chop Edmure's head off," and he's like, "All right, do it." And then they're like, "Well, no, we can't do that."
That's so stupid.
So then Jaime comes up and is like, "All right, you guys suck at this, so we're gonna take over this now." And so I want to parlay with Blackfish. So then Jaime talks to Blackfish, and Blackfish is really not caring at all. Basically says, screw you, try to make us surrender. We have enough rations for 2 years, and you have 2 years' time? I don't really think so.
I want to know what the fuck they have saved up for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like the fresh food that they serve people in this show looks like shit.
Yeah.
2 years later,
It's just garbage.
this dried jerky and... Ugh. Somehow every week I get stuck talking about the Greyjoys, and this week is no different. When we last saw them, had sailed away with a bunch of ships, and they are now kind of just chilling out at some whorehouse. Yara is just like making out with the girl, sucking on some titties, and Theon's just kind of sitting there like...
Real uncomfortable.
He doesn't like it at all. He's sitting in there looking just horrible, and Yara goes over, she's like, hey bro, what the fuck's up with you?
Yeah.
And he's just like, literally just kind of making shitty noises. And she basically gives him an ultimatum. She's like, cut your wrists or stop being a bitch and help me. And he's like, all right, I guess I'll help you.
Yeah.
Yep. And she makes him drink a lot of ale during the scene.
It's really
like,
uncomfortable, like, drinking game.
I hated it. Like, basically, she's just like, drink your ale. And he's like, I don't want to. And she's like, fucking drink it. He's basically like... And he finishes, and she's like, are you still a bitch? And he's like, no. And she's like, drink again. And he's like, fuck. We do find out what they're planning on doing, which is sailing to Meereen to team up with the Dragon Queen, as they call her. And they want to go back and take the Iron Isles. I have a feeling that Khaleesi's going to go for this plan.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Even though the Greyjoys are kind of shitty and lame, and I think she can probably tell... They do have a lot of boats, and that's what she needs right now.
Either that, or she's just going to kill them both and take the boats.
She could kill them and take the boats.
So the last person that we're checking in with is Arya. She basically finds somebody who she sees is going to go back to Westeros and bribes him to get on the boat. And is like, all right, here's all this cash. We're going to leave at dawn. And she walks away. And then is approached by a old woman. And everybody who's watching the show is like, no.
It's the fucking waif!
Everybody knows this. And, of course, it is the waif. She gets sliced and then stabbed and falls off of a bridge. And the waif thinks that she's dead, I guess.
Yeah, she got like this little shit-eating grin on her face. She's like...
Yeah. Arya emerges and is walking around town bleeding and is like... all crazy.
Yeah, she's basically not asking anybody for help. She's literally just like...
We'll see where that goes. Yeah. I'm glad that she didn't just die there, because that would have been horrible.
I mean, we know how this show works. If she was going to die, she would have died.
Yeah.
So I think she's going to be fine.
So what did you think of the episode?
I liked it this week. I thought they kicked it up a notch a little bit after last week. It makes last week make more sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah? What about you?
I thought the highs were really, really high and really, really great, and the lows were incredibly boring and dull.
Well...
But overall, it was a good episode. I thought much better than last week and up there with the episodes prior to that.
Yeah, it was a good one.
So what did you guys think of tonight's episode? What was your favorite part? What did you think of the Hound coming back? Sound off in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And hit up our website, earthsmightyzeros.com, and we'll see you in the next video. Is Jon Snow...
Nope, can't say that.
Why?
Next people are Jon Snow. Yeah, I'm sorry.
The next people, they try to...
Today's episode is brought to you by...